last episode, we did our tour around Mauritius and had a technical stop in Port Louis.
Raphael is exchanging a ring. Last time when I went up the mast, I wasn't strong enough to open it.
Sunday, the 5th November, and we're finally going to meet Imanol today. He's been following us since 6-7 years, and what exactly the same lagoon, 52 sport ops we have, and they're in the World Arc, so they passed us more or less, and he's going to come in here within an hour as they have a problem with the forestay.
It is so good to see our old lagoon again. We are already for so long in contact with them that it feels like seeing old friends when we meet them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Oh, so next time you're watching the video, you will be in it.
Or for sure in Cape Town, but we will see you.
Are you going to Richard Bay also?
Yes, yes.
Oh, right. If we follow you guys.
Yeah, we just do the same trip.
Yeah.
On Monday morning, Pom leaves the harbor and will be hauled out. And a couple of hours later, we will leave for La Réunion.
In the shadow of the island, and the wind is changing all the time. We prepared the sails for 20-25 knots. The boats in front of us are reporting 20-25 knots. Here, this doesn't really help. And Nino is there in front of us, going over 8 knots now. So we should get wind soon.
So it was a pretty bumpy night, just as the one that we are going to have now. At the moment that I am doing the voiceover of this film, we will also go through a front. I think maybe you can already hear it on the background.
The wind is calming down here.
Everybody arrives early in the morning, but we are not allowed to go in the harbor before 8 o'clock when the harbor master arrives. But luckily at sea it's very calm, so all of us are waiting just in front of the entrance. The harbor is not a very interesting place, but the tourist office organizes a drink in the evening with live music and dance. So we all come together and have a good time.
So we're simulating what Victor would have advised us if we were in the same situation as the boats of the Ark are now. We could see it coming, to be honest, so I'm sure that if Victor would have been the coordinator, that they wouldn't be there.
Do you like something to eat?
That's interesting, eh?
All I can see and do and say is that they need to be in by Saturday 9 o'clock at night.
Yes, but 60% of the fleet is not able to do that. So, is there anything else to do than pray? Because the forecast doesn't have to come true.
No, well, some are gonna have to sail up north in the Mozambique Channel and come back down again.
In the meantime, we are thinking about our next crossing to South Africa, which will be completely different from what we have done until now. We are going to leave the trade winds and come in the area with all the frontal systems. The Ark is 1 week before us, so they already left. We are checking what they are doing, the course that they're taking, and how they avoid ending up in dangerous situations close to the South African coast.
They can use the whole width to get a boat out, so these are only small boats for them. Looks like a pretty safe way of getting a boat out of the water. These are the boats of the World Ark. You can get them on Predict Wind as well. So this is actually the current position of the Leviathan. It's a Newtonmeer 51. They started 1 day later than the other boats in the World Ark. But in the meantime they caught up and they're in 8th position. The way we see it, Leviathan has some interesting weather here. Let me start the movement where the front is passing and then heading north again. He should arrive in Richards Bay here at the red dot just in time. But then from Sunday morning the wind is starting from the south. And the main problem in this area is there when there's wind from the south and a strong current coming from the north. You can have standing waves, just say up to 20 meters. Well, even if they're half that size, you don't want to be there. Boats that won't arrive in Richards Bay before Sunday morning, they will have a problem. It's only for a couple of days, but the big question is where are you going to stay in the meantime? Well, one of the alternatives would be to go north in the Mozambique Channel and wait it out here.
Together with Rob and Hanneke, we go for 2 nights in a hotel in the center of the island. It is a beautiful island.
Le mouton gourmand.
We We do a beautiful hike. In the end, we walk a lot further than we expected and we were not really prepared for it. We didn't bring enough water.
Ik hoor de waterval al. Back on the boat after we've been to Silaus in the mountains. And in the meantime, Woody arrived. Woody's gonna join us at least until Cape Town, I guess? Yeah? Or maybe all the way to Brazil. Yeah? Pretty warm here in Lepore. It's Sunday afternoon now. And we decided not to leave this morning, as we might end up in the wrong situation in Richards Bay. So now we're having another look at the weather situation.
So actually what happens here is not so interesting. You might need to motor. The most important thing is to time it correctly, that you're here in time. At the same time it's difficult because it's a week ahead, so the weather forecast is not as accurate as you would like to have it. There's a current, a very strong current going from northeast to southwest. So this is the current situation.
Yeah.
So there's a front passing, so here we are leaving from here. We pass Madagascar. The idea is to pick up a waypoint somewhere here because here is turbulent wind and waves and currents. And from there goes straight to Richards Bay. But you can see here the flow of low pressure systems that is coming by. On the northern hemisphere we are used, of course, always that low pressure systems go anti-clockwise, but on the southern hemisphere they go clockwise. These are all low pressure systems. You want to avoid a situation that the wind is coming from the south and the very strong current, 2 to 5 knots along the coast, is coming from the northeast. So there's two things that you can do if a system just ends up at another timing, ends up there, and you will be in it. So there's some places here in the southeast of Madagascar where you could anchor. And the other thing is, if you're already here, you're already past Madagascar, and a system comes up north, then you could go in with the system up north because the current is only 200 miles from the coast. So you stay in this area. You go with the flow up north, and as soon as the wind turns, you just turn with it and come back to Richards Bay. So the plan is to leave on Tuesday as soon as the front starts. So we also need some motoring here, absolutely. And then as soon as the front comes, then we can go a little bit more west. So here we are all fine. The wind in the back, it's perfect. And then you can see here that this low pressure system is coming in. So you don't want to be here now, so we mustn't start any earlier than...
But this is on Sunday. We would have ended up there if we would have started today.
And you want to be in before this arrives again.
Next low is arriving at Cape Town already on Tuesday.
So tomorrow we are going to look at this forecast again, and we want to know what time this low pressure area will arrive.
And Rob from Nino, he bought all kind of French Asterix books, the very latest one. It's Jimbo! So we're kind of killing the time until we can leave.
Built a home out on the slopes, on hay beneath she lay above.
Oh no, oh, I was so impressed by your voice. I'm out of it.
In the meantime, I can kind of understand what they're saying, the other boats. Well, of the 13 boats left, 10 are French. But this is not easy to read, I must say.
Just be walking through the town, showed me the statues underground. Said just don't they look at me. Took me walking through the town, showed me the statues underground. Said, just don't they look at these? Sometimes I wish that was me. I was the son you always had.
Well, it can really blow there between Madagascar and South Africa. But luckily this stayed a little bit further south. Here's where the boats of the Ark are going. This is today, this is now. And you can see that the most of the boats arrived there in time. But there's still a couple out there. The only alternative they have basically is stay there. As the current is here against the wind. Well, it's not extreme, like 20-25 knots. But then against 3 or 4 knots of current, this won't help. It's Mermo. They're staying in the northerly winds to prevent this situation. But this guy is even a bit more brave.
So because Woody only has 2 days on the island, he takes a helicopter tour to see the interior.
So it's time for the briefing. Is it still on for tomorrow?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're going?
I think I go at 6:30.
Briefly through the programs, of course, main topic of the day, weather, and then some questions. Vous aider pour les amarres. Ceux qui veulent prendre du fuel, c'est ouvert de 7h à midi. Sur le mar, and I haven't talked to any of them, but they both told me the same about this vapor. Sometimes you go anti-clockwise, but change that all the time. The low pressure, this is the one that has already came. So that was the little southwesterly wind expected on Sunday. And this is going to come, so it's still hard to predict, but it's definitely coming from the east here to leave tomorrow. So I'm sure this you've done it 1,000 times when you predict wind.
And in the next episode, we will be actually on this crossing with these waves and this noise. So it will be exciting.